If you've been stuck in some area of your life and you've been trying to do affirmations or belief shifting or identity shifting, but you still haven't broken through to get the results that you desire, it's very likely that you haven't discovered this missing piece that is keeping you stuck perpetually. And once you uncover this and neutralize it, it's going to change your trajectory in that area forever. Hi, I'm Coach Tony, and on today's video, I'm going to help you uncover what's been really truly keeping you stuck so that you can break past it and start to go in the direction of your goal, dream, or desire faster and more effectively than ever before. So, we're going to start with what is it that you desire? What is your goal, dream, or desire that you're trying to go after? It could be in any area of your life, by the way, but what is it that you want in your life? What do you want to be different? What do you want to change? What do you want to increase or make better? Once you have a pretty good idea of what it is you desire, what we want to find out is, all right, what's preventing us from getting that goal, dream, or desire? Or from at least taking action towards it on a regular basis? Because really, success is just simply going in the direction of our desire on a consistent and regular basis. So if you simply take action on a daily, regular, consistent basis towards your goal, dream, or desire, you're eventually going to get there. What you want to do is write down everything that comes to mind. So whether you're trying to make more money in your business, maybe you're trying to lose more weight, or maybe your desire is for a better relationship. Whatever it is, write down what you believe is the reason why you haven't gotten there yet. Okay, so write that down. Just take a minute or two to do this. Next, in relation to that area, we want to uncover what's triggering us or what's charging us up. So for instance, if making money is hard to do right now, or it's been a challenge for you, what is charging you up in relation to money? Same with losing weight. If losing weight's hard to do, what is charging you up or triggers you when it comes to losing weight? In other words, what's the resistance that lives there in relation to that goal, dream, or desire you have? And I want to give you some perspectives that you can kind of look at it from. So, is there something you fear about making more money? Maybe there's a fear of failure, or maybe a fear of success. Is there something that's causing you anxiety? Like maybe you're afraid of being judged if you're trying to do sales calls or trying to sell your product or service. Or maybe there's resentment for other people who are winning and making a lot of money and you're not. Or same with losing weight. Maybe there's a resentment for other people that look better than you or are stronger than you or have better hair than you. Or maybe there's frustration or self-doubt in relation to that area of life. Whatever the trigger is for you, it's related to why you're not getting the result you desire. So this idea is actually very profound to understand because this applies in every area of your life. And if you have negative experiences that you've had throughout your life and they haven't been neutralized and you haven't found the right perspective to bring them back into balance, then likely you've been showing up to life with this little lens on. And you've been viewing life in that area of life through this lens. Well, let's just say it's fear or frustration or self-doubt or anger or resentment that has been negatively charged up because of some circumstance you've been through in your life. And that's the unconscious lens you're viewing your life through. Well, that's going to skew the way you show up in every action you take in regards to that area of your life. So in other words, if money has always been hard to make and there's lots of negatives around money right now and not a whole lot of positives because you don't have a lot of it, let's say, then it's imbalanced right now. And the way you show up to make more money is going to be negatively charged. And it's going to directly impact the results you get in relation to money. The same is true in all other areas. If it's negatively charged, like let's just say a past partner cheated on you. And ever since that, every person you meet tends to be abusive or also cheats. It's because you're looking through the lens of that negative experience and it is skewing how you're showing up unconsciously to most people. So if there's a negative trend or a negative trigger that's occurring in relation to your goal, dream, or desire, this is our opportunity to neutralize it and to find the positive in it. Because the moment your logic outweighs the resistance, your change becomes immediate. You don't need to do hours or days or weeks or months or even years of affirmations or belief shifting or self-identity shifting. All you need to do is balance out the imbalance that's going on in your mind right now. Once you do this, it will course correct you. It'll take away the lens that you've been viewing that area through. And now you can proceed calmly, confidently in the direction of your goal, dream, or desire without being skewed or negatively impacted by the negative charge that was once there. So I want to give you some real life examples here. Let's just say you go out to sunbathe to get a tan so that you look better and your skin's glowing. but then you stay out in the sun too long and it burns your skin. Well, the event of you going out to get a tan, which was positive because it's going to help you make your skin look better, quickly becomes more negative because it was painful. It maybe lasted a few days. It made you look worse and ridiculous if you were red like a lobster, right? And it was just a huge pain, literally, to have a sunburn. Well, the next time you go out in the sun, you didn't have to do affirmations or belief shifting to put sunblock on. You just automatically made the new decision that, hey, I don't want to have to experience that again. I'm going to put sunblock on to protect my skin. And I want to give you another more powerful example that literally happened to me and affected my coaching and entrepreneurial journey. So prior to becoming a coach and an entrepreneur in 2016, I was actually an employee for a pharmaceutical company, and I worked there for 18 years. Well, when I got into the world of entrepreneurship and coaching, I had to start selling my services and my products to the marketplace, and I was not a salesperson. And so as I started doing some of this work for myself, I started to uncover lots of emotional negative charges when it comes to showing up to sell something. And what I realized is a lot of it stemmed from public speaking and the negative experiences I had with that in my life. Because traditionally, I was like an introverted person, shy, introverted, and I never really liked to public speak. I always got embarrassed. In fact, in school, I have a few stories of being made fun of for going up in front of the class and turning bright red. And then that was something I carried with me even to my professional years at my old company. I'd have to give presentations, and there's one in particular that I remember like it was yesterday, where I turned bright red, and I had to ask my counterpart to take over my presentation because I was so embarrassed. Well, shortly thereafter, I actually joined Toastmasters to help me overcome my fear of public speaking. But what I didn't realize at the time is I had these negative charges in relation to public speaking that I had to get rid of and diffuse and neutralize before I could show up on a regular basis confidently on video, or to do sales calls or run ads for my business, or all the things you got to do to kind of put yourself out there. I had to overcome some of these unconscious things that I went through before I could show up on a regular basis. And really quick, what came up for me was self-doubt, judgment, anxiety. Like all these things came up for me because I had these negatively charged experiences with public speaking in the past, and I never neutralized them. So here's what you do when you discover what has been keeping you stuck and what is negatively charged up right now, and how to neutralize it actually, is we have to essentially sell ourselves on the other side, the other perspective. So in my case, for public speaking, I had a laundry list of negatives that it caused me, and only like one positive, like, oh, I can communicate to a lot of people, which is a positive. But then all these negatives of, oh, what are they going to think of me? They're going to laugh at me. They're going to make fun of me. All these list of things that I had that were negative coming from that lens. That was literally the lens I was viewing that from. And it actually showed up in my business when it came to me selling my product or service. This could be happening for you if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to meet Mr. or Mrs. Right. In any area of your life, this could be happening for you. So the idea here is just figure out, all right, what is triggering you? Why am I not calmly at peace and going in that direction? Because something happened that we have to neutralize. Okay, once you discover what that thing is, hopefully it kind of comes right to your mind. Usually if it's pretty charged up, you'll think of it and recall it on the screen of your mind pretty quickly. In fact, the more emotionally charged something is that you've been through, the more vividly you remember that thing. Like for instance, one of the biggest negative charges I had in my life was the loss of my dad when he passed away. He actually died in 1996. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember every detail, and I had to do a lot of deep work around that event in order to move past it in my life. And that's actually what ended up leading me to become a coach ultimately in 2017, is I actually uncovered that for myself, and I was able to neutralize it. And it was the biggest oak tree is what I call that. Like if you have a mind garden of plants and trees that are being planted from the experiences in your life, well, those really traumatic events, like when somebody cheats on you, or you have a loss of a loved one, or you lose all of your money, or you go bankrupt, something major like that that happens, that's like an oak tree that gets planted into your mind garden. And that overshadows every other experience pretty much. So if that's happening for you, or that has happened to you, then this is going to change your life forever. It's going to allow you to neutralize whatever happened because you have to find the other perspective. If you have an incredibly negative experience and that's what you're kind of viewing life through, the lens you're viewing life through, then we have to neutralize it by finding the positives in that area. Some examples of this is, all right, what did it allow you to become? What did the death of my dad allow me to become? What did being made fun of when trying to do presentations in school or at my old job help me become? It ultimately helped me become more resilient. It allowed me to start looking at myself at a deeper level and understand that that's not your worth or your identity. It's just something you went through that ultimately made you stronger of a human being as a result of it, actually. Without those people making fun of me or without me experiencing that embarrassment or the anxiety, I wouldn't have pushed past it and I wouldn't have become a coach, most likely. Without me losing my dad, I may not have ever become a coach because I learned how to let go of that emotional energy that was stored up in my body and neutralize that event in my life. I used to not even be able to talk about my dad because it would cause so much emotional energy within my body. I'd be on the verge of tears. As soon as I mentioned my dad, I couldn't barely talk about him because I would be ready to burst out into tears. Well, I was able to let go of that. I was able to let go of that devastating energy that actually once charged that event in my life. And now that oak tree has been uprooted, and now when I think about my dad, I think about all the amazing times we had together and all the lessons he taught me and all the great memories we have together. And I don't really think about his death anymore because I successfully neutralized that experience in my life. I hope this makes sense, and this will change your life forever. I'm telling you right now. So here's the actual step and process you want to follow. It's what is your goal, dream, or desire? What are you trying to go after, in other words? Number two is what's preventing you from going after it on a regular, consistent basis. You want to write down all the reasons why. What are the triggers and the negative reactions that you have in regards to that area right now? Once you uncover that, there's probably going to be a list of negatives that you're associating that event with. Now it's up to you to find the positives. And until we find the balance of positive to negative, it's going to remain imbalanced and it's going to impact the way you're viewing life through that area. Okay. And then the next step here is to write out all of the benefits and the positives that that event has ultimately led to in your life. And if it's hard to find at first, just try to look for any positive that came out of that event. Like, hey, it made you stronger. It made you more cautious and it made you think about things deeper than you normally would have. And what I recommend is find many positives to each of the negatives that you've uncovered. Because the more positives, the more effective you can neutralize and disarm that negatively charged event. Once you do that, though, you now will feel 10 times better about that situation. That's how you know you did this work properly. And again, it didn't take you affirming or belief shifting or anything like that, but this is just logically how you work. So as soon as you neutralize it logically, now it happens forever. It's likened to you uprooting the entire weed in your mind garden instead of just plucking the flower or one of the leaves from the weed and then it just simply grows back a week or two later. You actually uproot this weed that's been sitting in your mind garden for maybe years or decades even, and now it will never grow back. Well, you could do this in all areas of your life with all the weeds that are in your mind garden that are negatively charging you right now. Or some of them might be positively charged. Like we call these infatuations, actually. If you're looking at a circumstance as like delusionally positive, like maybe you have an infatuation with a person or something like money, like that can be equally bad, actually, if it's imbalanced. So the name of the game is you're trying to find the balance in your life in relation to the areas you're going after that you want to level up. When you do this, it allows you to proceed and move forward with no resistance. And that's ultimately the name of the game. When you lower all resistance, you now can move calmly and confidently in the direction of your goal, dream, or desire, uninhibited from your emotions, and now you will be able to achieve your success faster and easier than ever before. You won't be emotionally derailed in one direction or the other. You can just keep moving forward and consistently on a regular basis until you reach your goal, dream, or desire. But with that, my hope is that you apply what you learned in today's video and it allows you to break past the limitations that have been keeping you stuck for far too long. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and I'll see you in the next video.